There are people who tell you that discos are just glorified record hops, those peculiar rituals where instead of dancing to a live band playing all the latest hits, you paid a local disc jockey to come out and play records for you to dance to. In the mid-60s, record hops took on an institutional appearance and a new name, discotheques, from the French for sort of record hops. The current revival began about 4 years ago when a number of clubs by and for gays and fellow travelers sprang up in New York and Los Angeles. They were very stylized in their decor and clientele, and the music they played was soul. As more and more of these clubs opened up for heterosexuals, it went like this. First, the beautiful people showed up. This gave the clubs class and publicity. Eventually, the upwardly mobile portion of the middle class bought the idea after it had been sufficiently watered down for them, and the music had developed its own character. Today, discos are part record hop, part dance hall, part gymnasium, but mostly for meeting people with whom you'd like to go to your place or theirs. And that aspect cannot be stressed too strongly. Anyway, we're going to look at some of the nicer discos in Washington and Baltimore. This is Sagittarius, an affluent black disco near DuPont Circle in Washington. It was originally a real mansion built before the turn of the century. Sagittarius has live bands on weekends, records during the week, a restaurant, a bar with a giant TV screen, and a blustery, upwardly mobile cast to it. Before we go any further, let's stop and talk about disco music. And what better expert could we ask than the king of discos, Van McCoy, the man who wrote and recorded The Hustle, who gave us a concise invoice of the merchandise.
My best explanation of what disco music is would be to classify it as a combination of two ingredients, rhythm and enmeshed, I would say, with beautiful melodies, flowing strings, full orchestra sound, which is kind of different because in most cases the full orchestra was always used for ballad material, whereas this time it's a combination of the bitter and the sweet, the funky rhythm underneath with the flowing strings on top and the percussive horns on the top, all accenting rhythm.
A couple of years ago, this lovely building at 20th and L in downtown Washington was an auto body repair facility. However, now it is Le Club Zanzibar, which is one of DC's poshest discos, and discos have brought the word posh back into existence. They have, however, done something to the interior. This is where the beautiful people go, and if you don't believe me, just ask the people who run the place. They'll give you a piece of literature with the name and address of the club on it, and a message that will make you believe that you are one of the beautiful people too. Hey. Now this does not look like a 150-year-old building, but it is, and it's in downtown Baltimore in Mount Vernon Place. It originally was the carriage house or stables or something for the A.S. Abel family. However, now, as you can see, it's apparently a discotheque. Bumpers, and it's called Bumpers because it has an auto motif. Bumpers has an ambiance all its own. It's different from Washington discos. It has that certain je ne sais quoi, or as we natives say, I don't remember. And there did not seem to be the Washington air of, I wonder who's noticing that I'm here tonight. No, at Bumpers, the communication is on a much more basic level. This is Tramps, a very fashionable disco in Georgetown, one of the top discos in Washington, if anyone is counting. Tramps has an international clientele, is very crowded, and was loaded with people on the make. It was here, after a long search, that we found the couple most suited to demonstrating the hustle to you. He's a Cuban who told me he has special formulas for mixing solutions, which will help you lose weight if you drink them. And he's looking for a TV deal. She floated away before I had a chance to say anything to her. I asked Van McCoy, who wrote The Hustle on the advice of a disco DJ friend, to explain the dance to us.
When I wrote The Hustle, I had never seen the dance, which is kind of backwards, I suppose, in approaching an original composition, but he had explained to me as best he could what the dance looked like, and of course I still had no idea until I went to a couple of clubs in New York and saw the dance actually being done, and my first reaction to the dance was it was a combination of the old jitterbug, which we used to do years ago, and some of the Latin dances like the tango, and also the merengue. It was a touch dance.
Discos are the #1 cultural artifact of the first half of the 70s. However, as a nationwide artifact, not as well known perhaps as McDonald's or Exxon, but the one most accurately reflecting the first part of this decade.
I think they're very, very personable. I think that they show what is happening with this now generation.